No one believed I could do it. Friends laughed. Family doubted. You'll fail, they said, but I didn't listen. I spent years scraping together money, working nights while everyone else enjoyed life, and building a clinic from nothing. Every step was mine, every sacrifice, every late night, every risk. And finally, after endless struggle, the clinic became a $2 million success. Just when I thought I could finally enjoy the fruits of my labor, my family showed up, claiming they deserve a cut because we're blood. Their timing was perfect, but their sense of entitlement? Unbelievable. I started from nothing, living paycheck to paycheck and juggling multiple jobs just to make ends meet. Every day felt like a balancing act, covering rent, bills, and groceries while secretly putting aside every spare penny for a dream that seemed impossible, building my own clinic. There were countless nights I went to bed hungry, skipping meals so I could invest in supplies or rent space for the clinic. The first patients I treated were small victories, but each one felt monumental. They reminded me that the sacrifices were worth it, that I was capable of making a difference. Still, the emotional toll was immense. I had no social life, no weekends off, just endless hours of work and planning, feeling isolated as I poured everything into a vision that no one else seemed to believe in. Friends laughed, distant relatives shrugged, and even casual acquaintances doubted I had what it took. Their skepticism burned at first, but it only strengthened my resolve to prove, not just to them but to myself, that I could succeed. Finding the right location for the clinic felt like searching for a needle in a haystack. I spent weeks walking through neighborhoods, negotiating rents, measuring spaces, and imagining how each room could serve patients. Every decision rested on my shoulders, from arranging furniture to wiring equipment, and I quickly realized there was no manual for what I was trying to build. I had to learn everything by trial and error, hiring staff who matched my vision, figuring out supply chains, and marketing the clinic to a community that didn't yet know I existed. The financial challenges were relentless. I took loans I barely qualified for, juggled late payments, and cut back on everything personal, meals, outings, even basic comforts, so the clinic could thrive. Yet, amid the struggle, small wins kept me going. The first 10 patients who walked through the doors and trusted me with their care felt like victories worth celebrating. When the clinic finally had a full week of revenue, I quietly allowed myself a moment of pride. Each challenge I overcame built more than a business, it built resilience, patience, and confidence. I began to feel unstoppable, knowing that no setback, no sleepless night, and no doubt from others could stop what I was creating from scratch. After months of relentless effort, the clinic began to grow in ways I had only dreamed of. The first $100,000 in revenue felt surreal, a tangible reward for every sleepless night and sacrifice I had made. Soon, that milestone became $500,000, and eventually, the clinic hit $2 million, a number that made the years of struggle feel both worth it and almost unbelievable. With each achievement came recognition, peers congratulating me, patients leaving heartfelt reviews, and the local community starting to respect and trust the clinic I had built from nothing. Looking back at every obstacle, the long nights, financial fears, and moments when I doubted myself, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride. Every decision, every risk, and every ounce of effort had been mine alone, and the realization of true independence settled in. No one else could claim this journey, no shortcuts, no borrowed credit. Alongside this pride, I held a quiet hope that my family, who had long ignored my struggles, would finally recognize my hard work and respect the boundaries I had set around my life and achievements. For the first time, I felt the satisfaction of not just success, but of creating something entirely on my own terms. Just as I began to enjoy the success I had fought so hard for, my family suddenly appeared in my life in a way I never expected. Calls started coming out of nowhere, followed by surprise visits, each one laced with a sense of entitlement I couldn't comprehend. "We deserve a cut," they insisted, "because we're family," as if the years of sweat, sleepless nights, and sacrifices I had poured into building this clinic from nothing didn't matter at all. My initial reaction was a mix of disbelief, anger, and confusion. I couldn't believe they were ignoring the struggles I had endured alone, the blood, sweat, and tears that had made this clinic possible. Conversations quickly escalated, filled with emotional manipulation, subtle guilt-tripping, and blatant claims of entitlement. Every word felt like a test, pushing me to question my loyalty versus my rights. Inside, I was torn. Part of me wanted to keep the peace for the sake of family, but another part knew that what I had built was mine alone, and protecting it was non-negotiable. Flashbacks haunted me, the times I needed them and they weren't there, the moments I faced failure alone while they remained absent. And now, after all I had accomplished, they suddenly wanted to step in and claim what they hadn't earned. The tension in the room was palpable the moment we sat down to talk. My family's eyes were filled with expectation, their words dripping with entitlement as they laid out their demands for profits, recognition, and a share of ownership in the clinic. I listened, trying to stay calm, but inside, a storm was brewing. I knew I had to take a firm stance. I explained, clearly and calmly, how every inch of this clinic had been built by my own hands, the financial risks, the sleepless nights, the emotional sacrifices, and that nothing had been given to me freely. Their reaction was immediate. They tried to guilt me, pressure me, and twist my words to make me doubt my own judgment, but I responded with facts, with clarity, and with boundaries that were non-negotiable. It was a moral balancing act. How could I show compassion for family without surrendering the achievements I had fought for alone? Slowly, a realization settled in. I couldn't control their expectations, and not all family truly intends to work for what they want, some simply desire an easy gain. And in that moment, I found my courage. I set my boundaries firmly but respectfully, defending what was mine while striving to keep the relationships intact, knowing that protecting my life's work required bravery I hadn't known I possessed. Looking back on everything, the journey taught me lessons I could never have learned any other way. Resilience became my constant companion, self-reliance my shield, and believing in myself the fuel that kept me moving forward, even when doubt surrounded me. I learned that family entitlement can appear suddenly, and recognizing it early is crucial. Protecting your life's work doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. As an entrepreneur, I discovered the value of sacrifice, patience, and most importantly, boundaries. Every decision, every long night, and every tough conversation reinforced the idea that growth comes not just from success, but from standing firm when challenged, even by those you love. Gratitude also became clearer, gratitude for the few who supported me, for the patients who trusted me, and for the strength I found within myself to prove the doubters wrong. There is an unparalleled satisfaction in knowing that nothing I achieved was handed to me, that every milestone reflects my effort, courage, and perseverance. And above all, I realized that protecting your achievements is not just about money or recognition, it's about honoring the journey, respecting your sacrifices, and preserving the life you fought so hard to create. In the end, pride isn't arrogance, it's the quiet acknowledgement that you built something remarkable entirely on your own terms. Building something from nothing isn't easy, and protecting it can be even harder. My journey taught me the value of grit, patience, and believing in myself when no one else does. Family, love, and loyalty matter, but so does standing your ground. I didn't build this clinic for recognition, I built it for impact, for my dreams, and for the patients who need it. And sometimes, the hardest part of success is teaching those closest to you that respect must be earned, not demanded.